September 11, 2001, dawned as a flawless late summer day across the East Coast. The sun rose over New York City, casting a golden glow on the familiar skyline. The air was crisp, the sky a brilliant blue, and the city seemed to hum with possibility. New York City bustled with its usual energy. Commuters hurried to their offices, parents dropped off children at school, and tourists snapped photos of the towering skyscrapers. The streets were alive with the sounds of car horns, footsteps, and laughter, as if nothing could disturb the rhythm of daily life. In Washington, D.C., the nation's capital awoke to a sense of calm and purpose. Meanwhile, in the quiet town of Shanksville, Pennsylvania, residents began their routines, unaware that their community would soon be thrust into the world's spotlight. Across the country, it was a morning that felt reassuringly ordinary. At airports in Boston, Newark, and D.C., travelers lined up at ticket counters and gates, sipping coffee and reading newspapers. They chatted with loved ones, checked their watches, and prepared for business trips or vacations, never suspecting that history was about to unfold. Security was routine, the skies clear, and life felt safe. The world seemed predictable, and the idea of danger felt distant, almost unimaginable. For passengers on American Airlines Flight 11, United 175, American 77, and United 93, it was supposed to be just another journey, one of thousands happening that day. They settled into their seats, expecting nothing more than a routine flight. No one imagined that this ordinary morning would soon become a day of unimaginable loss and heroism. People moved through their routines, blissfully unaware of the events about to unfold. The world was not on high alert. There were no warnings. Headlines spoke of politics and sports, not of terror or tragedy. Emergency services waited for routine calls, not the unimaginable. The clear blue sky, remembered for its beauty, would soon be marked by chaos and sorrow. That morning's serenity would become a haunting memory for millions. In an instant, the comfort of routine was shattered, replaced by confusion and fear. The city's pulse quickened, and the world would never be the same. That perfect morning would be remembered not for its weather, but for the moment everything changed. A day when ordinary lives were forever altered by extraordinary events. At 8:46 a.m., the world changed in an instant. American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, sending a fireball and thick black smoke billowing into the clear September sky. The impact was catastrophic, shattering the morning calm and leaving New Yorkers and viewers everywhere stunned and confused. Initial confusion gave way to horror, as just 17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower, this time live on television for the world to see. The second impact erased any doubt. This was no accident. It was now clear. America was under attack. Panic and disbelief swept through the city as emergency responders rushed to the scene, and news anchors struggled to comprehend the unfolding disaster. 19 al-Qaeda terrorists had turned 4 passenger planes into weapons, targeting symbols of American power and striking at the heart of the nation's confidence. The hijackers had carefully selected cross-country flights, knowing these planes would be loaded with fuel for maximum destruction. Their plan was chilling in its simplicity and devastating in its execution. Using only simple weapons like box cutters, they overpowered flight crews and seized control of the cockpits, turning ordinary passenger jets into deadly missiles. As New York reeled, a third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m., striking the nerve center of U.S. military command and spreading fear to the nation's capital. The attacks were coordinated, devastating, and left the nation in shock. Across the country, people watched in disbelief as the scale of the tragedy became clear. Passengers and crew on board the hijacked planes were trapped, their flights transformed into instruments of terror. Many made desperate phone calls to loved ones, sharing final words and piecing together what was happening. The world watched in real time, gripped by fear and uncertainty, wondering where the next blow would fall and how far the attacks would go. A fourth plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was still in the air, its target unknown. Air traffic controllers and military officials scrambled to track its path, fearing another catastrophic strike. The scale and precision of the attacks revealed a chilling level of planning and coordination, exposing vulnerabilities no one had imagined possible. In just a matter of minutes, America's sense of security was shattered, leaving a nation and the world forever changed. United Airlines Flight 93, hijacked en route from Newark to San Francisco, was meant for another target in Washington, D.C., likely the Capitol or White House. On the morning of September 11, 2001, as the world watched in horror, this flight became the stage for an extraordinary act of resistance. A delay on the runway, which kept the plane grounded longer than planned, allowed passengers to learn of the other attacks via phone calls. As news of the World Trade Center and Pentagon attacks spread among those on board, a sense of dread and urgency filled the cabin. Realizing their fate, they made a courageous choice: to fight back, knowing the odds were against them but refusing to be passive victims. Through whispered goodbyes to loved ones, they organized a revolt, led by passengers like Todd Beamer, Mark Bingham, Tom Burnett, and Jeremy Glick. These individuals, along with others, quickly formed a plan, drawing strength from each other in their darkest hour. "Let's roll!" became their rallying cry, a phrase that would echo through history as a symbol of defiance and unity. They stormed the cockpit, battling the hijackers in a desperate struggle for control. The chaos and bravery in those final moments changed the course of the attack. The hijackers, losing control, crashed the plane into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. The impact was devastating, but it prevented even greater tragedy in the nation's capital. All aboard perished, but their actions saved countless lives on the ground. Their sacrifice became a beacon of hope and resilience in a time of national despair. The crash site became sacred ground, a symbol of courage and sacrifice, visited by people from around the world who come to pay their respects. Ordinary people became heroes, changing the course of history in their final moments. Their unity and bravery continue to inspire generations. Their story is a testament to the power of collective bravery, reminding us that even in the face of terror, hope and heroism can prevail. Flight 93's legacy endures as a vital part of 9/11's history, forever honoring those who stood together in the face of unimaginable adversity. In New York, the Twin Towers burned, fueled by jet fuel and chaos. Trapped above the impact zones, some faced impossible choices, with harrowing scenes broadcast worldwide. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed in seconds, engulfing Lower Manhattan in dust and darkness. First responders inside and outside the towers were caught in the devastation. Hundreds of firefighters, police, and paramedics lost their lives in the collapse. The North Tower, burning alone, fell at 10:28 a.m. The destruction was total. Iconic skyscrapers reduced to rubble in under 2 hours. Thousands perished, including office workers, visitors, and rescuers. The World Trade Center site became Ground Zero, a 16-acre wasteland. The collapse was a national trauma, the loss almost unimaginable. The world watched in horror as a symbol of American strength fell. Amid the devastation, stories of heroism emerged. New York's first responders rushed into danger, saving lives at great personal risk. Hundreds of firefighters, police, and paramedics made the ultimate sacrifice. Ordinary people became heroes, helping colleagues, guiding strangers, and offering comfort in chaos. The rescue and recovery at Ground Zero was grueling, with workers and volunteers searching for survivors and closure. Across the nation, people donated blood, volunteered, and supported one another. A spirit of unity and compassion swept the country. The heroes of 9/11 were not just professionals but everyday citizens who responded with courage and kindness. Their actions became a symbol of resilience and hope. In the aftermath, America grieved nearly 3,000 lives lost from over 90 countries. Spontaneous memorials and American flags appeared everywhere, uniting the nation in mourning. Political divisions faded as leaders stood together in solidarity. President Bush's words at Ground Zero echoed the nation's resolve. Security changed overnight. Air traffic grounded, airports fortified, and a new era of vigilance began. The government created new agencies and laws, reshaping national security. The world responded with support. "We are all Americans" became a global refrain. NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, uniting allies against terrorism. International solidarity brought comfort and set the stage for a global response. America's grief transformed into determination and unity. The U.S. quickly identified al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden as the masterminds behind the attacks. Bin Laden, sheltered by the Taliban in Afghanistan, had orchestrated the plot from afar. The U.S. launched Operation Enduring Freedom, toppling the Taliban but failing to capture bin Laden. A decade-long manhunt followed, tracking leads and piecing together intelligence. The breakthrough came by following a trusted courier to a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. In May 2011, Navy SEALs raided the compound, killing bin Laden. His death brought a sense of justice and closure to many Americans. The architect of 9/11 was finally held to account. A 9/11 transformed American society and its place in the world. Air travel changed forever, security tightened, routines upended. The war on terror began, leading to conflicts in Afghanistan, Iraq, and beyond. Trillions were spent, and countless lives were affected worldwide. At home, government surveillance expanded, sparking debates over privacy and civil liberties. The attacks ended an era of perceived invulnerability and fueled both resilience and suspicion. Islamophobia rose, but so did appreciation for first responders and stories of unity. The health toll on rescue workers remains a painful legacy. 9/11's impact continues to shape politics, culture, and daily life. Its legacy is complex, marked by loss, change, and enduring questions. More than 2 decades later, never forget remains a solemn promise. Each September 11th, Americans honor the victims at memorials in New York, the Pentagon, and Shanksville. The tribute in light and the reading of names keep memories alive. Teaching 9/11's story is vital for new generations, about tragedy, heroism, and unity. The legacy is one of loss, but also of courage and compassion. The rebuilt skyline, One World Trade Center, and memorials stand as symbols of resilience. The emotional impact endures, woven into the nation's consciousness. Remembering 9/11 honors the past and guides the future. It's a story of how, when the sky fell, people came together to rise again. The promise to remember is a responsibility we all share.